I watched this again because the first time I watched it, I had the same reaction as the second time I watched it, where it's like you settle in, like the first 20 minutes are like, God, this is really sharp and snappy, and I like everybody in it. And when the horses show up,
I'm sorry, Equisapiens?
I literally, again, someone who likes this movie way more than me is going to have to explain how that is not a tremendous miscalculation on the part of the filmmaker. That this movie just like doom to doom to doom to do, and then way over into left field.
I had a very different reaction.
I never recovered.
Oh,
Twice. I've never recovered from the horses.
I think it was instructive to see this film before. I mean, just after we watched Zardoz. because it's kind of taking the same risk that Zardoz did in terms of like. Go ahead.
You've totally stolen my.
I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jim. What were you gonna say?
No, it's very similar to Zardoz in that they're both sort of low budget. The directors obviously wanted to make these movies, the filmmakers.
Yes. They're passion projects.
The only difference is that, you know, the sort of hippie sentimentality that went behind Zardoz is no longer current.
No, it's been replaced by
a hip hop sentimentality, kind of like.
Yeah, which I'm all for. I mean, it's a great movie. I also thought, I kept thinking in the beginning about, oh God, what's the precursor to Mad Men? How to Succeed in Business Without Really Trying.
In terms of the crazy colors and kind of unusual.
Yeah. And then
it looks really good.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead.
I'm gonna compliment this film's cinematography because it was sumptuous.
Yeah,
there was
for something that was shot in 8 days.
It was shot in a short period of time, but the DP had beautiful sense of color and space. And there's the scenes like he got that nice apartment down on Broadway.
Mm-hmm.
He made sure that you had depth of focus. You could see out the window every time. Yeah. The sense of place was incredible in this film.
Both of these movies, by the way, both of these movies I picked because I think they're absolutely gorgeous. Like I think both of these movies are absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah.
And this, like, I love this part because this is the breakfast scene from Citizen Kane.
Pretty much.
Yeah,
that's true. That's true.
Shout out to
I love Tessa Thompson.
Oh God, she's never been bad in anything.
No,
like
Tessa Thompson's
Valkyrie.
amazing.
I love
Valkyrie,
fucking Creed
references.
Creed, excellent. Valkyrie and the was it Ragnarok?
Thor Ragnarok,
the funniest, best character in the whole movie.
Also, the best Marvel movie.
Yeah, it was.
Fight me in real life, anyone, because that's the best fucking Marvel movie.
I'm not going to stop drinking.
Shout out to Debbie Brubaker, who's one of the producers on this thing.
Oh, really? You know them?
Debbie Brubaker?
Yeah.
Yeah. She taught at Film Arts Foundation. She's a local producer. She lives in San Francisco.
Wow.
I've known her most of my life.
Oh, that's great.
There's more producers. By the way, there's more producers on this than there are on Narc.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
There was a lot of producers on Dune too.
Now, I'm going to weigh in a bit of a criticism here, and only because like I'm I went to school in the 90s, like in college in the 90s, and back in the 90s, it was like the postmodern thing was really big, and there's like a lot of pinwheel-eyed kids handing out pamphlets about socialist revolutions and crap like that.
Yeah,
there is a certain earnestness to this film about class and the relationship between that kind of thing. That's just, it's not subtle. You know what I mean?
Nothing about this.
Not a subtle movie.
Subtle.
And the thing is, it's my personal reaction, but I feel like I'm getting beaten over the head with stuff I had to deal with back in the 90s.
I would like to point out also, though, that this movie was written in 2012.
Okay, I don't know if that changes anything, but okay.
No, it does, because a lot of people looked at this movie and went, "Oh, it's such a stunning critique of the Trump era," and it's like, no, this was written during the Obama era, and this is about
I didn't
capitalism.
Read this as an indictment of the Trump era.
No, these are evergreens. The things they're talking about. That's the thing.
Yeah.
So, but like I said, it's a certain earnestness about Bay Area activism that kind of leaks into this thing. That's kind of a little annoying.
Well, I mean,
you can feel the Bay Area-ness of it, not just because it was shot in Oakland.
That's the part I like.
I can't imagine how the guy who's the lead singer of The Coup fucking has Bay Area activism in his blood. That's wild.
I love this as a Bay Area native.
Also, it feels regional.
I love the fact that he was born in Detroit and he named his heroin Detroit.
So this scene right here,
yeah.
this is Wood Street in West Oakland.
Yeah.
Okay. You follow this over to this side, and that is Soundwave Studios, where we used to rehearse.
Oh,
oh God, you're right, Scott.
And in fact, this crap here has only gotten bigger and worse since this film was shot.
Oh yeah.
What year was this shot? 2016?
2017.
2017 for 2018 release, right?
Again, you guys are making my point for me. I feel like the first 2/3 of this movie is so strong, and yes, it's a sledgehammer upside the head, but I think it needed to be. I think it's got a lot to say. I did not read it as an indictment of the Trump era. I think it's got, last 20 years certainly, and then to bring the equine thing, and it almost trivializes
Equisapiens, use their name.
Yes, keep it
Use
straight.
their name.
And then just the fact, they look fucking weird, and it felt like it trivialized everything that led up to it, because it was so, wow, this just took a turn. Whereas Zardoz is from the first frame.
I do think if I was turned into a horse, I would wear pants. Just like,
well, I don't
horse
know. No, if I was a horse, I'd show that thing off. So
yeah, right.
Okay, there's that.
Again,
okay, can I say something? Because
sure.
I've also watched this now for the second time,
Okay.
and I had a very different reaction. The first time I watched it, I spent about the first half of the movie going, this isn't very good. And then as I kind of got with the rhythm of it and saw what they were doing, I came around. And then when what did
Equisapiens.
Thank you.
Equisapiens.
We got to the big bathroom stall reveal. I was like, fuck yeah. I was like, this is what I came here for, I think. I liked it.
So when I saw this in the theater, I have to say that half of the audience in the theater had Chris's reaction and half of the audience in the theater had John's reaction. And I was one of the very few people. I was one of the very few people who was in the whole way.
Right.
Like I was on board for the whole thing. But no, there was definitely an up and a down that happened.
That is a polarizing moment.
Although, mind you, I think the filmmaker says, District 9 worked this way. Why not try this the same thing? It's the same gimmick as District 9.
It's the same.
Yeah.
Which is not a bad movie.
It's
a great film.
With Malcolm McDowell, Britannia Hospital.
Britannia. I was going to cite that too.
It's very similar to that. It was that same sort of disconnect. But I just went with it. At first, I thought, he's hallucinating because they put PCPs into his line of coke or something. But then as it kept going, it was like, oh no, I see. It's taking a turn.
Also, Lindsay Anderson's on my short list, so watch out.
This
every
movie,
day except Christmas.
I will say that this movie never gets less funny. The parts of this movie that are funny are fucking funny no matter what.
The writing is very consistent. It's always humorous. It's always the touch is perfect throughout from beginning to end.
Ooh, really nice. I will disagree there.
Do you think so? You think one part got too serious?
No, I think and my opinion is the same with both viewings. I think this director is full of ideas.
Mm-hmm.
This movie is packed with ideas, maybe too many. He throws everything at the wall, and I would say about 50% of it sticks. Things fall flat all the time.
Oh yeah.
I mean, the whole art gallery thing to me was just a terrible, painful.
That's an overly earnest. That's an overly earnest,
not funny parody of art galleries and performance art. And there was about half of it for me still doesn't work. But it just, I'd rather watch somebody putting everything into it that they really wanted to do and see that than see a formulaic piece of.
I'm with you.
Right. Everybody, it's. Okay.
I feel the same way about Brazil, actually, which this movie resembles a lot to me. It's like Brazil, half the gags are kind of like, huh? To me.
Yeah, except Brazil was made at Gilliam's height. And this one is like a first flick.
This is his first
novel.
Yeah.
Good point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, no, I want to see a second movie from Boots Riley.
Hell yeah.
Oh, definitely.
He hasn't made one.
No.
As well as this was received, he hasn't made another movie.
No.
Man.
Because this is the movie he wanted to make. I don't know if he ever will make another one, honestly, because this is the movie he wanted to make. Like he's made a living off the coup for a long time.
Yeah, they do very well.
It's hard to make a movie. You got to really, really want to make a movie.
That's true.
Well, yeah, and I think
and he had to fight
he probably got it out of his
Scrabble
system.
for this.
Yeah, right.
But he had cred coming from outside of the film industry that helped quite a bit too. So that's the thing.
So now, I have a question. Did any of you see the original trailer for this before you saw the movie?
No.
Oh man, I should have sent that to the group chat, because one of the things that's amazing about the trailer for this movie is the only thing in the trailer that is after about 40 minutes into the film is the part with Armie Hammer where he gives him the "I want to pay you $100 million."
Oh yeah.
Like nothing else in the trailer is from that late in the movie. It's so amazing that they must have given him control over the trailer edit, because there's nothing after that. And
that's smart, actually.
Yeah, no, it's super smart, because
you know what? There's more than you want to know trailers. We're all tired of those, so they give away the entire.
Oh
movie.
God!
Well, because I watched the trailer and I was like, I'm 100% in. I was 100% in as soon as "Oh Yet" by the Coup started playing, because I was like, there's new Coup music in this. I'm gonna watch this. No, and then it was a Boots Riley movie, and I was like, oh yeah, well, I'm absolutely gonna watch it now. But like watching the film and seeing everything from the trailer in the first 40 minutes, and then it's like, oh, we're gonna keep going here. Let's see what the fuck happens, and just pull that seatbelt down and let's go. Which is why I kind of disagree with Chris. Like I think the Equisapien shit is fucking great for a couple of reasons, and kind of the biggest one is because that's Cash's punishment. Like Cash breaks the rules of the world. He crosses the picket line. He continues to be part of the
machine of exploitation.
Which plays into Blue Collar, which we watched a few weeks ago,
yes,
and talking about the absolute necessity that someone in his situation the word's not sell out, but to buy in, is to take care of his family and take in.
My uncle's going to lose his house.
Yeah,
I mean, even if I agree with you that he deserves punishment at that point, and I actually do, could the punishment not have been more grounded?
Because as the Equisapien, he shows up at Armie Hammer's house at the end.
Yeah, let me address.
It gives him the power to get redemption by going and overthrowing them.
And that's the most District 9-ish moment of the whole thing. Isn't it?
Now, mind you,
but District, you guys keep.
Well, it's just maybe let's address this.
District 9 from the first frame.
There is
We're dealing with aliens from a spaceship living in Johannesburg.
Yeah,
and there's a very clear narrative to get the guy to turn into one of them.
Yeah,
the horse thing.
There's a really nice claymation explanatory film that tells you why they're doing this.
Yeah. Now, mind you, that the thing is how director handles intrinsic.
Let's talk about claymation for a while.
I found interesting about
California raisins.
How directors handle intrinsic reality. In the beginning of the film, I thought this film was gutty because it was like, this guy is living in a garage in his uncle's house, and he's just like struggling, trying to find a job. And it's very realistic. It's like you can relate to that because it is the reality we all live in.
When he gives like 62 cents for gas.
I know.
Yes.
It's like 62
no,
40 cents for gas.
40 cents.
Yeah, no. But so you're following along in this thing. This guy is basically just barely making it work in Oakland. And so you're on there, and there's a point.
His uncle's house is in a pretty nice part of Oakland.
Yeah, it is actually it's in the foothills, which is not bad. Yeah. But the point where we start breaking away is with Danny Glover. He says, use your white voice.
Use white voice.
And then they started talking like Steve Buscemi. Then the other guy was Patton Oswalt. It was like, Then at
was that
point,
before or after? Was that before or after the desk dropped through the floor and went into the person?
That happens before. That's
Before.
when he
That's
first
the
shows
the
up.
desk
first
dropping
break.
thing happened
That's the first
before.
break with intrinsic reality. So at that point, you accept that anything's going to happen.
And you either
Right.
go, I'm with this movie, or I'm not.
Yeah,
That's
pretty
right.
much. It's
I
making
was
make a
still
choice.
with it.
And that is in the trailer.
I was just
if you
worried
watch the
that they were
trailer,
going to
that
keep
is in the
doing
trailer.
that.
Also,
Yeah.
that was freaking
Too much.
brilliant too.
Yeah.
When he
was
reaches
absolute-
over, and he turns the fucking bidet up on
Yeah.
the Japanese guy.
Yeah.
But
Oh,
you know, I
it's so
thought the
good.
whole thing about dropping into people's houses and talking to them, now that was just kind of like it's an artistic director's choice. Like, this is how you're going to show you dropping into people's lives. You can buy that and still be part of intrinsic
Well,
reality.
invading.
But once you
people's
start doing the
lives.
white voice thing, you realize you're totally talking about something else.
Yeah.
It's
Well,
like,
but I
after
so I
that,
said this. I said this to Jim before we started, but like I've done telemarketing, and like it is one of those things where you do change how you talk based on who you're
Acting.
calling,
Sure.
and
Oh, yeah.
and like you do, like I tend to talk faster than a lot of people because I'm from the East Coast, so you slow it down.
right.
Like you bring that back down if you're talking to somebody who is from the South or from the West or whatever. Like you have that thing where you change how you talk. And I still do it at work today, like, you know, in retail, where
Well, you have to.
yeah, I don't talk like this when I'm talking to customers.
Well, definitely. I mean, there's mirroring in any social interaction to some extent. You adjust your delivery to.
No,
the
it's
person.
no.
In linguistics, it's
Well,
called.
no, you're talking about the wrong.
accommodation.
You're talking about the wrong
Accommodation,
thing.
thank
You're not
you.
talking about the wrong thing. It's not them adjusting their voices to sell themselves on telemarketing. It's the fact that Patton Oswalt and Steve Buscemi dubbed their voices.
Okay.
That-
It's David Cross. by
David
the way.
Cross. Oh, David Cross and
It's
Patton
David
Oswalt.
Cross. Yeah.
Once you, because they're recognizable voices. Once you hear them, it's like, okay, I know what I'm in for.
I have a question
Yeah.
for the group. Would it? Well, it certainly would have been different, but would it have been better or not as good if rather than dubbing white voices into that, we had gotten to see those two actors do their white voices?
Mm,
It was kind
No,
of a
it wouldn't-
distancing
it-
device.
It
so
distanced me, and it never really worked for me.
I thought
would
it was
be-
a shortcut to a thing, to making a point.
I
Right.
got the point. I totally get
I
the
got
point.
Right, they're not
But I would have
being
loved to see
themselves.
the actors do it.
No.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
the thing,
no,
but
I
that's
don't
the,
disagree.
but that's the point I'm trying to make, is that the fact that they start dubbing the voices, it elevates the reality level.
It
to a
tells
higher
you
one.
what kind of a movie
It,
this
it
is.
turns into
Right.
it turns into a semi fantasy, and then you're
Yeah.
ready for the horse people at the end.
Fantasy.
Of the
That was the word. I'm glad you said that, because I was
Yeah.
about to say, this movie is a fantasy.
It is.
The horse people, the Equisapiens are not
Thank you,
actually
Equisapien. Sorry,
a surprise thing, right?
I was surprised.
it keeps
I was extremely
building.
surprised by this.
I was surprised.
It was an
it's-
escalation.
yeah, it's an escalation.
Yeah.
I was not prepared for those.
No, but
I was not
but
prepared either. No.
You were just intimidated by the horse's cock.
the
At-
reason
at
Be
that-
that as it may.
Yes, there was a certain kind of like a weird envy thing going on, but that's okay, right? You know.
That's okay.
the reason that
Freud
the-
had a word for it.
the reason
was
that the white
envy.
voice works, in my opinion, is because they can cut in and out of it in the film,
Sure.
because there's multiple parts where people are like, why the fuck are you talking like that, or you have to talk like this,
Right.
and using dubbing for it, I think, actually makes that a little bit more obvious for the audience.
It's a shortcut.
You know,
It's a
like
good
you
shortcut.
have to think about this as being a broad spectrum picture. Like, even though it's not, even it's an indie film and it made no money overseas and stuff like that. Like,
It
you
didn't? Oh.
you are trying to make this a
Well,
broad
you're-
spectrum picture.
Yeah.
Part
And
of the
that
thing
makes it
is,
really
I
odd.
think also that you could shoot it in such a way that those guys just deliver their dialogue,
Mhm.
and it's later dubbed in with the white voices for the
Yes.
heightened whatever.
Yeah.
But you know, it's they're not mugging to the camera, which
Right.
I thought was good. They're not doing anything physical
Yeah.
to
that's-
be
yeah.
white.
No, they just
They're
simply just start talking.
It's just his voice comes in over the top.
No, I also I got the meta message of the whole thing. This is what you have to do to succeed, which is like,
Sure.
yeah, it's really well done. That
I also love how black
I like that part.
I love how black this film is. Like, I love that the director is black, the writer is black, same person. The most of the primary actors are black. The one non-black primary actor is Asian. Like, I love how this movie is very much like white people are the problem in this society.
Much.
And like, that's good. Like,
that's Donnie Yen.
I love their argument at
Yen.
one point about whether Italians are white.
Yeah,
yes.
They have been for about 800 years. He said, yeah.
Our second Donnie Yen film after Burning.
Oh
yeah.
Yes. He's got a great line in it which sums up the whole movie, and you're gonna have to go look for it, Scott, in the clip, because I can't think what it was now. Cut this part out and put that clip in, because I can't think of it right now.
While you're thinking, do you want to hear you want to hear Jared's?
I have it. What?
Yeah, do the Jared thing.
I really
say fuck off.
I really like Sorry to Bother You too. It's smart and hilarious. I love the surreal world Boots created. The performances are excellent and the social commentary is sharp. The scene where he raps at the party is just incredible. Great film. I find it far superior to another film, The Case out the same year called that came out. There's a thing. It came out the same year called Blind Spotting, which I found preachy and over the top.
Didn't see that one.
I neither. So
the rapping,
or Zardoz, which everybody found preachy.
The rapping at the party where he just says the N-word over and over and over.
Oh my God, that says it all, man.
And that's where when he starts killing it.
Yeah, shit.
Yeah.
N-word shit.
It's N shit. Yeah. God damn.
Listen, even though I don't like the horse stuff, I would still recommend this movie. So
okay, well, we probably thumbs it if you want.